Hello and Happy New Year. It is officially 2018. Like, we are already in 2018. That's crazy. Like, where the heck did 2017 go? Anyways, I hope everyone had a Happy New Year. So again, Happy New Year to everyone. Okay, I was trying to continue filming, but Slater is being needy and a whiny. But anyways, I'm gonna try this again. So obviously we are in the month of January, and as all of you know, I have been prepping for a powerlifting meet, my very first powerlifting meet, which is January 26th and 27th, I believe. So it's coming up at the end of this month. So I really only have like 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks to really just like hone in and dial down on my powerlifting lifts. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my openers for my attempts at my powerlifting meet. Just a little bit of a background just for those of you who are unfamiliar with powerlifting meets. Powerlifting is the 3 main lifts of squat, bench, and deadlift. And so at a powerlifting meet, you have 3 attempts on each lift. So you have 3 attempts for squat, 3 attempts for a bench, and 3 attempts for deadlift. So you have to gauge what your opener numbers are going to be because the goal is to go 9 for 9 basically. So you want to lift every attempt that you have. So obviously for your first attempts, you wouldn't want to do like a max lift or try to go for a PR. You want to kind of be more on the conservative side. So a general rule of thumb is for your openers for a powerlifting meet, you want to do a lift that you could do like a max of like 3 reps any day in the gym, like 3 to 2 reps any day in the gym. So actually this past week is what my powerlifting coach had me work on. She wanted me to work up to a 2 rep max on all my main lifts to kind of gauge like what my possible openers will be for my powerlifting meet at the end of this month. And so that's what I'm going to be showing you and talking a little bit about in today's video. So jumping right into that, the first lift we did was my squat. So on Monday, I worked on squats and I worked up to a 2 rep max of 235 pounds. 235 pounds for 2 reps. So 235 pounds for 2 lifts. That's pretty good. So my squat and deadlift are my stronger lifts. Like my bench is like a whole nother story, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But my squat is pretty strong. I'm going for a weight class of 114, and obviously like your goal for powerlifting is to at least lift your body weight in all 3 main lifts. So for my squat and deadlift, I am surpassing that. So that's really good numbers. That's really competitive, like elite numbers. So I was hoping that my numbers would be like a little bit higher on squat. However, I can admit and be like completely honest, like I kind of get a little bit scared when I start lifting really heavy weight, like challenging weight that I've really never lifted before, especially since I don't have a squat. So I can comfortably say that I kind of get a little bit in my head that when I'm really pushing the numbers, I kind of get scared because again, I don't really have a squat, and I've mentioned this before, like I'm kind of stubborn in the gym. Like I don't want to ask anybody for help or like ask a complete stranger because like I don't know them. I don't really know if they know what they're doing, and so I want an experienced person to spot me. And since Cody doesn't ever work out with me anymore, or work out for that matter, I don't ever have a spot anymore. So I feel like sometimes I kind of sell myself short a little bit in the gym because, again, I get kind of scared, so I get a little bit in my head. But anyways, regardless, like 235 pounds for my body weight is extremely good for 2 reps. So that's kind of going to be my opener for squats, probably is 235 pounds. And we'll retest like my openers again in a couple of weeks. But my squat, I got 235 pounds. Moving on to bench. Bench is like super just complete opposite than like my squat and my deadlift. My bench is super weak. I don't know why, because like I'm an overall like pretty strong person for a person of my size. I think it's like I can bench pretty heavy, I guess. I think the most like I've benched is like 115, which is at least like my body weight. But the thing is, like in powerlifting, one of the rules to have a complete or considered a complete lift, you have to pause at the bottom of the rep, which is something I really haven't practiced a whole lot with. And so that's where I get really weak in my bench. So my bench opener that I got a 2 rep max with is really 95 pounds. And I could have easily done 105 pounds for a 2 rep max. But again, I kind of get in my head a little bit because I don't have a spot, so I kind of get nervous when the weight gets a little bit heavier because I don't have anyone spotting me, so I kind of get a little bit scared once I'm up under all that weight. And I had a really hard time pausing, like having a long decent pause at the bottom of the lift when I was over 100 pounds, which is why I dropped the weight back down to 95 pounds, because I'd rather have a good, solid, complete rep than really trying to push the weight and not have like a clean rep. Because in a competition, your cues for bench, for those of you like who don't know, your cues for bench are you start to lift, but you have to have the commands of start. So when they say start, you're able to go into the lift, and you have to wait for the bar to touch your chest, and you have to wait for them to say press. So you have to pause, and depending on the judge, they may have like a half to 1, almost 2 second pause, you know, just depending on how mean the judges are. So you want to practice in the gym of having a really long pause. And so that's something that I've really been struggling with bench, because again, I've never just really practiced like really holding the pause at the bottom of the lift. So that's something that I've really been trying to retrain my mind with. So that's why with my bench is like significantly lower, like as far as competitive numbers compared to my squat and my deadlift. So bench is just another story. So that's why we have really been working a lot on doing banded work with bench. We've been working a lot of my triceps and doing accessory chest exercises, and just really getting my technique down, because bench is like, it's really about, it's all technical and mechanical. So I'm just really, that's been my most challenging lift. This whole powerlifting prep is my bench. So, but again, hopefully we can really push some numbers in a couple of weeks and see what my opener may be. But right now, my opener for bench is 95 pounds. Moving on to deadlift. My deadlift is really strong, as mentioned. I worked up to a max rep of 255 pounds for 2. So probably around there, like 245 or 255 will be my opener for my deadlift. I pull conventional just because I've never really practiced or don't have a whole experience with pulling sumo deadlifts, and I feel like I'm pretty dang powerful or strong with conventional deadlift, especially again for a person of my size and my weight, which is super competitive. So 255 for 2. And this other clip I'll put in here, I attempted to do 265 for 2, which I think I could have easily gotten, because I got the first rep pretty easy and it moved pretty fast. But on my second attempt to do the 265 for 2 reps, I was just like lost all momentum. And then once I sent the video to my powerlifting coach, she said that she felt like I could easily had gotten it. However, my starting point for the 265 pound deadlift compared to my 255 pound deadlift, I didn't have like the right starting point like I usually do, and so I was just at a mechanical disadvantage at that point. Like my leverages were just off, so it was really just my setup that I think messed me up. So I probably could have gotten 265 for 2, but again, that's something that we'll definitely test in the following week. So to wrap that up, my squats opener is going to be around 235 pounds. My bench is going to be 95 pounds. And then my deadlift is going to be 255 pounds. So, and then that will be my first attempts. And then I'll have 2 attempts per each lift in the meet. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, I just want to kind of give y'all a little update about where I'm at. So over the next following weeks, I'm just really pushing the weight. And then I really only have like, I have 3 more weeks. Like I said, in 2 weeks, we'll test like my openers again to kind of see like where I'm at. And then the week going into my powerlifting meet will be a really short week and not a whole lot of heavy lifting, because it's kind of like a bodybuilding competition. Like your peak week, you don't want to be lifting a whole lot of weight or really doing a whole lot of workouts that week, because you want your body to be well rested and recovered. You don't want to have any inflammation. I cannot believe that it's dwindling down and it's almost here. I'm getting excited, I'm getting nervous, I'm feeling like kind of overwhelmed. I've still got to order like my singlet and everything. I think I've got to get some new like wrist wraps, like approved, like powerlifting meet approved wrist wraps. And yeah, anyways, I'm just getting real excited and I can't wait to do my first powerlifting meet. I know Slate's excited too. But yeah, that was all I had for this video. And yeah, I just want to check in and say Happy New Year, and I will be seeing y'all in the next video. Bye y'all.